It might even be he was born in Hawaii. What we are telling you is that document isn't real.
The voice of Mike Zullo. You can see that video, KHOW.com. It is the press conference. It's Wednesday morning, 18 July 2012. I'm Peter Boyles. 3 minutes after the hour 7, we go to Arizona. And the man in the center of the storm who has stood up, Maricopa County Sheriff Joe Arpaio, joins us. In a cold case posse yesterday released the new findings on their ongoing investigation into the eligibility of Barack Obama. Sheriff Joe, God bless you, sir. You're as tough as they come. Good morning and welcome back to the show.
Oh, it's okay, Peter.
All right, sir, let's begin at the beginning. I watched it, and then I watched the replay, and the media people that were there, that was really unbelievable. Just simply attacking you and Mike without looking at the evidence itself. How do you sense all of that, and how do you think it went yesterday?
Well, I think it went great. This is better than March 1, but you're right, especially the local media. This is ridiculous. The big issue is I sent one deputy to Hawaii for security reasons. I think you can understand why. I did that to protect my posse. And boy, I'll tell you, that's all they want to talk about. Why don't they look at the facts? And that's what's sad about the news media right now. They just don't want to bring this subject up, regardless of what we present. It could be a national security issue. Someone ought to look into how easy it is to get a birth certificate in Hawaii.
Yeah.
I mean, all you have to do is live there for a year and pay some water bills. You can go in and get a birth certificate for anybody. I mean, why isn't that a big issue when we're talking about immigration and national security?
We are,
the other issue.
We're going to talk with Mike Zullo later this morning, but I'm going to ask you a question. I never knew about this, and I was up late last night reading and printing out some of your work. The coding system on the birth certificate that indicates the White House document had been altered, the PDF that was dropped in April. Sheriff Joe, speak to that, if you would, and how that's done.
Well, it's a little complicated. We were just lucky to pick this up. And by the way, we talked to the 95-year-old lady that allegedly signed that because we don't know if they used her name as fraud.
Is this Verna K.L. Lee?
Yes.
Okay.
And had a coding system in pencil. Then we went to the archives and we picked up what that meant. And there's a couple of things in the blocks that should be unstated. Not anything typed in there when you look at the code system. So that made us alert to this. But that just confirms what everybody, not everybody, all the experts have said that computerized document released by the White House is a fraud. Mm-hmm. Now we got the boots on the ground, if you will. We went down there and did regular police work. And it's great police work.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and I get criticized for sending one deputy, spending some money, which was reimbursed, but this board of supervisors refused to take the money because they're suing us for millions of dollars, those two people. I'm not going to get into that. But this is disgusting. The fact that it's disgusting, nobody wants to talk about the facts. They want to talk about why I sent a guy to Hawaii.
The first questions from the press was a personal attack.
That's right.
That they try to make
new for me.
Yeah, I know. And I feel the same way oftentimes. I watch you and I just have so much respect. But the first question from the press was a personal attack that they try to make like a question against you and against Mike. And I'm thinking to myself, and when the money thing came up and Mike said I gave it to my church, that was insanity.
Well, why are they even talking about that?
Precisely.
I mean, what's that got to do with the facts? They don't even want. No one ever questions what you're talking about.
Yeah.
No one answers a question you just asked us.
Yes.
In the press conference. You know what? We had it streaming, so that proves everything. Let the public see what's going on.
I thought so as well. I mean, that's so wise to, and then plus, I think any radio show or anybody worth their salt is going to put, and which doesn't mean they will, but she'll put the entire video of the press conference up. We have at KHOW.com. We put your evidence, the evidence of the Obama document fraud. We put that video up in the flight records. We put that video up. But this breakthrough, and this woman, her name is Verna K, initial L, Lee. And who was she again, sir?
She was a registrar that signed that birth certificate.
And
that someone had actually signed it.
Mm-hmm.
It came up and had that little coding there, which no one picked up at on that birth certificate, alleged birth certificate. I mean, that's a big break too. Forget whether everybody says that's a fraud because of the computer, the computer information. But why don't they talk about this? And why don't they talk about how easy it is to get a birth certificate in Hawaii?
Shanghai Shek has one, or had one. The report that you guys did, you got two independent researchers. And listen, you guys, I want you to hear this. They ran 1,200 tests. Sheriff, I don't want to take away your hard work. Tell the audience about the 1,200 tests and what the conclusion was.
Well, once again, I'm not going to get into the high tech. I have a Smith Corona typewriter.
Yeah, you and I.
Computer guy. Zulo knows, and everybody else knows about that. But the point is, we know it's a computerized fraud. I mean, everybody's been talking about that constantly, and we have experts by experts to say it's a fraud. When you look at the document, you can tell how the registrar's signature moves around, and I can go on and on. So, I think that we came up with this additional information to substantiate that theory about the computerized document. I'm not accusing the president of being involved in a crime. We're looking at to see on fraudulent documents. It happens to be a violation of law to tamper with a birth certificate or to repeat it. Only the Department of Health in Hawaii can change that. That's number one issue. But when you're talking about, as I say, documents, and they're fraudulent, there's a crime. But nobody seems to care about that. If it was you with fraudulent documents, you'd have a problem.
I agree.
Forget where he was born and everything. We've always directed our attention to whether someone committed fraud or forgery on that document. That's all. Whether he was born here or there, that wasn't our thrust, and it still isn't. We want to find out who committed that crime. That's all. And I think we took a big step forward to prove that was a forgery, that document, by what happened when we were in Hawaii a month ago. But as I say, nobody wants to hear that. The national media, they're not going to talk about this.
No.
I guarantee it.
I guarantee it as well.
They'll talk about, in the Congress, they're investigating hookers in Colombia with the Secret Service. They're spending money in Vegas or the Fast and Furious. How come nobody looks at this?
Well, your question is, at this point, I don't know if I even have a beginning of an answer. I've watched it now for 4 years. If you're just joining us, of course, Sheriff Joe is with us. KHOW.com is our website. And we have the evidence of Obama document fraud, thanks to Sheriff Joe. We have it up on our website. The conference is there. And, again, this is amazing because I was trying to take all of this in, and I'm probably worse than you when it comes to technology, but the team shows that layers, and we've talked about this before in that PDF file released by the president, are not consistent with the layers produced by, they call it optimizing, but their report says consistent with document tampering. Now, my technical skills are zero, but I could see that. I mean, we've talked about it before. You can take this thing apart. It's in layers, correct?
Yeah, and also look at that registrar. The guy that would not see is there. When we visited, he kicked us out of the office. His name floats around. How can you, on that computerized document, how can this name, the signature, keep floating back and forth? And it's supposed to be a stationary stamp.
Yeah, it's still craziness, this night flight that's done by this woman attorney who's in the private sector, and they couldn't email you a document. They had to send you a PDF file that they had to bring on an airplane. And that's the Assistant Attorney General. That's another issue. Of course, Hawaii is denying and trying to degrade me, my office, because they're going to do that. The only way we're going to get to the bottom of this, someone, and I don't know who, has to look into this and really make a full-fledged investigation and take everything we have and move forward. But who do I go to? I mean, you can't.
U.S. government?
No.
So I'm in a box, but what I would like is Congress to open up hearings, get a special prosecutor, and let's get with it. I got enough smoke or even fire now. Like I say, they're looking at hookers in, you know what the deal is in Bogota, Colombia.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, they look at these things. But what about the national security issue when you talk about anybody can get a birth certificate?
What? I don't understand. I mean, I guess one of the best things that was said about this was Joe Farah's piece. When I want to read this to the audience, I wish I was smart enough to write something like this, but Joe writes after yesterday watching Sheriff Joe and Mike Zullo and others, today without the internet, we live in a 100% controlled media environment. There are more sacred cows than edible ones. The watchdogs are now lapdogs. The reporters are propagandists for the political establishment and the status quo. Sheriff Joe, I wish I had been smart enough to be able to write something like that, but it is the truth. And I know this much, that in what's the non-traditional media, which is, shows like this or the internet in particular, or even in some cases a little bit of cable television, this story takes quantum leaps forward. It took another giant step yesterday. Soon, the drumbeat will be so loud that apparently I've just told Fox News actually covered your press conference. They finally have done a piece on it. I don't know if you knew that or not. But Fox has done a drop on it.
Well, let's see if they talk about
they won't.
The Hannity and
no, they won't.
My friends. They're not going to talk.
I don't think so. O'Reilly's not going to do it.
It's bigger than that.
Yeah. But said and done, I know you're really busy this morning. Is there a next step in this for the cold case guys?
Well, I've been in law enforcement over 50 years. I was a federal guy, a top guy, in Mexico and Turkey and all over the place with the U.S. Drug Enforcement. So I've been with the federal system 30 years, 20 as sheriff now. And I got a theory. When you get a lot of press, a lot of media, other people come forward.
Absolutely.
So who knows who may come forward? Look what we discovered on the coding. Nobody picked up on
it. I still haven't been able to. I'm going to talk with Mike about it. It's amazing. Susan Daniels is coming on the radio show here in about 15 minutes, and she can explain some of this.
And we're being stonewalled by the government.
Oh, yeah.
We were in Baltimore yesterday. Let us in the waiting room.
Mm-hmm.
We've been dealing with them, but we got what we wanted about that coding system anyway. Just to confirm. We're very careful. We want to confirm because you know why. They go after you.
Sure.
They want to know what you eat in Hawaii when you send a guy down there to Hawaii. Here the world is caving in, and they go after he's sending the deputy down. And one deputy would have taken 100 FBI agents if they wanted to develop this.
They don't.
In Hawaii.
No.
But, I don't need this. I knew when I took it on, when 250 Tea Party came to me, they came to me, I just felt I had to look into it. And that's the way I am. So I'm doing my job, and I am up for a re-election for the sixth time. If I don't get elected over this, so what? I know I can say I did my job.
You're the man. Thanks, Sheriff Joe. We'll talk ASAP.
Hey,
Thank you, sir.